Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we of course have to start with the price of Bitcoin because everyone is waiting for that reversal. We are seeing a little bit of an uptick here. Bitcoin currently over $87,000, but we need more confirmation. As we always talk about, we need to see strength. We need to break through certain resistance levels. But one thing that we are expecting is that a reversal is coming. The question is it going to be a relief rally that rolls over into further downside into a bear market, or a rally that slowly grinds and takes us into all-time highs, right? And I'm not saying this is going to happen next week. It's probably going to take months. It's probably going to be a slow grind to get out of here. Now, why am I expecting that? Well, the RSI in the daily chart is in the oversold zone. And as I wrote in my newsletter today, the 14-day RSI is in the levels that we've seen the local bottoms throughout this bull market. In addition, the market has been in extreme fear. So by the textbook, these things usually result in a reversal, a bullish reversal. So again, the big question though is a relief rally or a dead cat bounce, then a rollover into bear market, or a slow, steady grind into new all-time highs. That's the big question. Now, I'm still in the bullish camp, and the reason why I am is because of the macro factors like quantitative tightening ending December 1st. Fed continuing rate cuts. You got central banks around the globe are doing quantitative easing. We just talked about Japan the other day, and I wrote about it in my newsletter today. So make sure you check out the newsletter, guys. It breaks down a lot of different things. So it's a patience game, right? It's going to be kind of rough around the holidays. I'm not expecting anything. Honestly, it is just really painful. And I'm being very honest with you guys and transparent. It is painful there, right? We have not seen alts do their thing. Bitcoin dominance has not broken down. It is just really bad right now. And look, the sentiment in the market reflects that with extreme fear. Now, Bitcoin on the weekly chart, the RSI is approaching the oversold zone, but the bears are still in control per the MACD. On the monthly chart, we're waiting to see how November is going to close, but right now a red candle is forming on that MACD. So not looking great, guys. There has to be some catalyst, something that has to reverse this in order for bulls to grab control back here. But, one thing I want to highlight that Bitcoin is a very young asset. Crypto is a very young asset class, right? So, can there be deviations to the cyclical patterns we've seen over time? Of course, right? The stock market has done different things over time. So has gold. So I think we have to expect that things are going to change moving forward, and we'll update our data points and our thesis accordingly. But we got to see how this all unravels. Is this going to continue going up to new highs, or we rolling over into a bear market? And that will change a lot of things, right? We're going to have to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, the things that have happened in the past are not happening again. So we're going to have to be prepared for these different type of scenarios moving forward. Now, one of the things I've been highlighting is that the stock market has also been in a correction. It's not just crypto. And that's, once again, the signal of the liquidity issue we've been talking about. So whether it be the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, you look at all their charts, they're all down. Now, they're not down to the levels that we've seen in the tariff crash earlier this year. And same thing with Bitcoin. It's not down at that level, but it just seems like there's so many narratives out there. And, there's a saying, narrative follows price. So when the price is going up, you're getting all these bullish narratives, right? When the price is going down, all of a sudden these bearish narratives come out, bubble, this and that and whatever, right? So it's so funny. This is why you got to look at the data, because the media will take you for a ride, and the short sellers are out there, the bears are out there with tons of narratives, right? But let's see what happens, folks. Like I said, I believe the macro is signaling that this thing is not over as yet. Now, one of the things that's driving fear, as I mentioned, the media, you're seeing mainstream coverage that it's over. On the Wall Street Journal, the front page this week, next to Trump and Mamdani, it says, "Year of crypto comes crashing down." Even The Economist, they put out an article this past week saying crypto got everything it wanted. Now it's sinking. Now, these things make me bullish because if you have Jim Cramer and mainstream media telling everybody it's over, it's painful, it's done, this is it, right? The top is in and all that. Um, Usually the opposite happens. So this is why I'm signaling a reversal is coming, because you got the perfect setup. You got the sentiment, you got everybody believing Bitcoin's going in one direction. Now, a positive sign is that ETF flows has started to reverse. There were a lot of outflows, right, this week, and a lot of people are selling, a lot of whales and so forth. Well, Bitcoin ETFs and even Ethereum ETFs started to pull some inflows. So some people are buying the dips here. However, one of the things I've been sharing with you guys is the on-chain data from Sentiment still shows whales are slowly getting out of the market. It's not in a straight down line, but they're slowly getting out. However, the overall trend is still up because they've been accumulating for a very long time over the past 2 years. But, that's a signal I've been sharing with you guys. We want to look at macro, charts, and on-chain data. You put those three things together and it gives you a really great understanding of what's happening in the market. So we need to see a reversal soon, both in the price, in addition to whales, stopping their distribution and start accumulating again. Or guys, that's it, right? It's going to be over. But, like I was saying at the beginning of this year with the tariff sell-off and crash, when everybody was fearful, kind of a similar situation here, I was saying it's not over based on the data. Now, is the data as strong as it was back then for the bull case? No. No. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? It's not. But I still think the macro is a factor. I feel like something is setting up to break, and the Fed is going to step in with some sort of liquidity injection, whether that be straight up quantitative easing, and risk assets we know are going to go bonkers based off of that. But I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm just looking at what all the things that are happening, like foreclosures are going up and the mass layoffs by companies and all these different things, right? The mortgage industry, the real estate industry, it's stagnant. So all these different things, show that Fed is going to have to step in at some point, but who knows when. Now, folks, this episode is brought to you by Trezor. Trezor makes beautiful hardware wallets that make it easy for you to self-custody your crypto assets. Many of you know I'm a big believer in self-custody. I've been self-custodying all my crypto for years. I use the Trezor Safe 5 and I have the new Trezor Safe 7, which was a device that was recently launched. It's quantum proof. It has a brand new design, top of the level security. And Trezor, they were the ones who created hardware wallets. They started this back in 2013, and then everybody else came along, right? So Trezor created the hardware wallets, they created the seed phrase setup, and they support all the major coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and much more. So, if you're worried about exchanges getting hacked and things getting hacked, you want to use a hardware wallet where you control the private keys, of course. And Trezor also offers a hand-holding service. So if you want to get help to set up your device, you can speak to a Trezor rep. And don't worry, they don't ask you for your seed phrase and all that stuff. And they have a great Black Friday promotion going on right now, guys, where you can get huge discounts on many of the different devices. So some of it up to 40%. So great deals here. Check it out, guys. And you can order, of course, the new device, the Trezor Safe 7. So if you would like to learn more about Trezor, check out the link in the description. Now, guys, this past week, and this is something I missed earlier in the week, you had the CEO of BNY, America's oldest bank and the world's largest custodial bank with $53 trillion of assets under management. And his name is Robin Vince, the CEO, and he was on CNBC and he said tokenization is a mega trend. So they're going all in. I think we all see the direction the puck is heading in here because all the major banks and financial institutions on Wall Street and even around the globe are tokenizing. They know that's going to unlock a lot of liquidity and, more. They're going to be able to earn more off of it, right? They're going to be able to do more with assets, with DeFi and much more. So I hope you see that despite the headwinds we're facing right now, short term, the macro, this asset class is here to stay. This technology is here to stay. And there's still money to be made here. So it does require a lot of patience, right? You got to be able to stomach the volatility like we're experiencing now. But, this is how money's made. You go look at great investors like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and all these guys, and you listen to what they say about patience and, buying when people are fearful and being fearful when people are greedy. that those principles are real, going against the herd, and it will allow you to make money. Now, folks, some not so good news about Cardano. I'm sure some of you saw this. Charles Hoskinson involves the FBI after developers' careless experiment splits the Cardano blockchain. This is brutal, man. So Cardano's chain split in two on November 21st after a malformed delegation transaction exploited a deserialization bug dating back to 2022. Emergency patches were deployed within 3 hours, with the network converging through natural consensus by the next day. A developer claimed responsibility and apologized to the Cardano community on X, saying they were dumb enough to rely on AI's instructions when attempting to test the damaged transaction. Founder Charles Hoskinson called the developers' actions absolutely personal and claimed that the FBI is already involved. An IOG employee said they resigned after Hoskinson involved the FBI to investigate the incident, citing concerns that future development mistakes could lead to legal consequences. The price of ADA dropped as much as 16% in the wake of the incident before rebounding slightly. So, folks, these are things that can happen, right? Almost any project. So this is why we diversify. And I'm not saying this is the end of Cardano or that's it, right? Things happen, but again, it's why we diversify, because you never know what could happen. You never know, there's outside forces or inside forces, whatever, that can affect a project. And let's see how this pans out. I don't know what the after effects are going to be, price wise, and how quickly the market may forget this, right? Let's say we enter into a parabolic euphoric zone and everything's going up, people, would forget. This is almost like nothing. It didn't happen, right? So let's see what happens, but this is not good. And let's see how things continue to unfold. I do hold some Cardano tokens, ADA tokens, but not a lot. But this is certainly not good, guys. You don't want stuff like this happening. So let's see. Now, Grayscale calls Chainlink the critical connective tissue of tokenized finance. And I'm certainly in agreement there. And I believe Grayscale is going to launch a Chainlink ETF very soon. In fact, tomorrow it is expected that they're going to launch a Dogecoin and their XRP ETF, spot ETFs tomorrow. That will be Monday, of course. So in a recent research report, the asset manager argued that Chainlink's growing suite of software tools is emerging as essential infrastructure for tokenization, cross-chain settlement, and the broader shift toward real-world assets on blockchain rails. A more accurate description of Chainlink today would be modular middleware that lets on-chain applications safely use off-chain data, interact across blockchains, and meet enterprise-grade compliance needs, Grayscale wrote. The company added that this expanding footprint has helped turn Link into the largest non-layer 1 crypto asset by market cap, excluding stablecoins, giving investors exposure to multiple ecosystems rather than a single chain. So I think they put out this research report ahead of them, launching a spot ETF for Chainlink. So guys, I'm a Link holder. I'm very bullish on this project. They are absolutely right. It is connecting a lot of different blockchains and TradFi to the Web3 on-chain world. So definitely in agreement with this. Folks, that's the news. Not too much today. Obviously, everyone is just waiting to see what Bitcoin's going to do. I think we may have to wait till December to start getting some of the macro things coming into the market, such as QT ending December 1st, rate cuts, and if other central banks will follow Japan and do quantitative easing, which would drive global liquidity up. So let's see. Let's see, guys. I know it's a lot of uncertainty. I know it's painful. I know it's annoying. I'm with you. I got my bags, right? Guys, I want higher prices. But I don't think this is over based on the macro, but I could be wrong. And, hopefully I'm right. And, come Q1 of 2026, we're all celebrating a bit because the market has started hitting new highs. And that's my hope. I'm sure many of you have that hope as well, but it doesn't look like Thanksgiving and Christmas is going to be great because the markets are going to be still down. But let's see what happens, folks. All right, guys, a great way to support the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter on Substack. It's 100% free. Like I said earlier, I put out a write-up today, so check it out. Also, check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital, and my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about crypto. Folks, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.